My personal opinion and what I believe is that Mark Zaid is going to lose his law practice after attempting a coup against the United States President Donald Trump, after being instrumental and integral in suggesting that a coup was underway and ought to take place. He can try to refute all that information. He's an attorney. He's a fucking lawyer, and that's what some lawyers do, right? That's their goal, is to refute and rebuttal certain information, right? Yeah, some attorneys are really skilled at that. Yeah, they're really good at that, right? So, thing about Mark Zaid, man, as an eye-opener, what I just heard on Larry O'Connor is that a former client of Mark Zaid, Tony Schaefer, Anthony Schaefer, Tony for short, I'm reading here right here, let's see, what is this, Anthony Schaefer et al., Plaintiffs versus Defense Intelligence Agency, Operation Dark Heart, author sues for uncensored edition, Able Danger, Wikipedia, Schaefer's lawyer, that was the New York Times, by the way. Then it goes on to say Schaefer's lawyer at the time, no longer his attorney, and for good reason. When you find out what I found out about Mark Zaid, based on what I heard on Larry O'Connor, his show, and what Tony Schaefer said himself. Here it says, at the time, when Mark was Tony Schaefer's lawyer, it said, Mark Zaid, quote, has revealed that Schaefer had been placed on paid administrative leave for what he called petty and frivolous reasons, and had his security clearance suspended in March 2004, following a dispute over travel mileage, and so on and so forth. Okay, we'll talk about Able Danger later. Let's talk about Mark Zaid and what people are now saying should be the investigation of Mark Zaid and his law practice and himself. That's right. After this bombshell of a story broke just recently, breaking news, it has come out by way of Tony Schaefer on the Larry O'Connor show that Mark Zaid, apparently, as part of whatever charade that Mark Zaid is a part of, in addition to the coup plot, he wasn't really, in the sense of legal representation, representing Tony Schaefer in the way that most attorneys would represent a client. And that there was some type of evidently ulterior motive. And that he wasn't really trying to help Tony Schaefer, based on what I and millions of people just heard. That's right. So you have these different judges and these different attorneys, lawyers. And some of them, what they do is they put on a front. It's all a masquerade. That is a charade. And they're not really doing what they're doing in the interest of the courts, of legal jurisprudence, or the law at all. That's not really what some of these so-called legal folks are doing in the legal arena. Oh no, they have an ulterior motive. Oh yeah, they have an agenda that goes outside the law. We're talking about activists, activist attorneys, activist judges, people who are supposed to be impartial and objective and are supposed to be ruling in accordance with the rule of law. But that's not what they're doing. They're giving favoritism. They're involved in favoritism. They're favoring a certain entity, a certain group, certain individuals, a cause, certain causes, while they're on the job. So rather than remain impartial, justice is blind. We're talking about Statue of Liberty, the whole idea that one is supposed to remain impartial and objective and to rule fairly. That's not what people like Mark Zaid do, and judges and lawyers like Mark Zaid, according to information that has just surfaced and emerged, materialized, that is. So it sounds like there is public outcry and public inquiry now, asking, as some are, for Mark Zaid to be investigated. There are people who are saying that Mark Zaid ought to be investigated. Tony Schaefer was on the Larry O'Connor show and explained that while he was supposedly that is what was supposed to have been a client of Mark Zaid, that Mark Zaid acted in a way that suggested that Mark Zaid did not have his clients, that is Tony Schaefer's interests in mind at the time, and that the reason why Tony was a client of his was merely, in Mark Zaid's mind, for political reasons of Mark Zaid's own. In other words, Tony was basically being used as a pawn in a scheme, because when you're a lawyer who is supposed to be representing your client and your client's interests, but you're not doing that, what you're doing is you're fake representing a client for your own personal goals, aims, interests that are outside the scope of duty to your client. That's a scheme. You're scheming. You're lying, you're conning, and it's called fraud. Now, Mark Zaid, after he was exposed by Tony Schaefer on the Larry O'Connor show, immediately across social media and the web, people began to say that Mark Zaid should be investigated. The arrogance of people like the lawyer, Mark Zaid, is absolutely striking. Because in an egotistical, arrogant, and conceited mind, such as the mind of Mark Zaid, people like him think that in their positions, that is, in the areas of law, that they themselves will never be the subject of investigation, that they will never be investigated, that the public, those and many in public, will never ask for people like Mark Zaid to be investigated, to have the government and law enforcement look into the background of Mark Zaid. According to Tony Schaefer, Mark Zaid wasn't really doing Mark Zaid's job when Tony Schaefer was a client of Mark Zaid. That's fucking shocking, especially given that it's well known now. And the other thing about Mark Zaid touting himself, national security, I wonder how he fucking feels knowing that the identity of his client is known now to folks in the public. When Mark Zaid is supposed to be, national security, touted up like, national security. Yeah, so much for your motherfucking national security now that your client's name and information is known to folks in the public. You see, man, people like Mark Zaid and these fucking desperate clowns like Nancy Pelosi and their masquerade games that they fucking play, and their wannabe fucking Hunger Games. These motherfuckers expected for Mark Zaid's client's identity to remain unknown, off limits, masked. They didn't want for anyone to figure out who this person was in their fucking masquerade. That's right. Their desperate clown masquerade. They did not anticipate that the information would be found out, i.e. leaked to the public. They're so good, these desperate clowns like Andrew McCabe, Robert Mueller, and the likes of James Comey, and the whole deep state apparatus, these apparatchiks they are. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, they love to leak information that's highly classified to the public. Yeah, and their friends in fucking media, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, New York fucking Times slimes. Yeah, the Washington fucking Jeff Bezos compost dump, fucking refuse piece of shit, went out of fucking business, essentially worthless fake fucking newspaper. Yeah, until Jeff Bezos bailed the piece of shit compost out of going out of business. Yeah, these deep state fucks, they love to leak shit. Yeah, and the irony is they were planning for none of their information to be leaked. That is exposed, made known, disclosed to the public. And I bet Mark Zaid was banking on that. National security! Yeah, so much for your motherfucking national security, Mr. Zaid, especially given that your former client, Mr. Tony, that is Anthony Schaefer, has come out to millions of people around the globe and exposed you. That's right, national security. Yeah, so now we know your fucking real agenda. We know your absolute ulterior motive, which many have suspected for many years, more than a decade. Well, now it's known. Now it's absolutely out in public. And now it's known. Now it's known. Oh yeah, what? You didn't think your client's information would be revealed? Because that was your only fucking chess piece. That was your only card that you had up your fucking sleeve. Hoping to do the kangaroo court system shit there, Mr. Zaid. Yeah, doing the kangaroo Stasi court shit with your fucking cronies at CNN. Your friends, CNN's a piece of shit, worthless network. What were you thinking? 2017. Yeah, Donald Trump's going to be impeached with the help of CNN. What, a worthless fake fucking news network that has less than 1 million fucking remaining viewers? Less than 1 million remaining viewers? Yeah, they're gonna help you impeach Donald Trump, Mr. Zaid, just like you're gonna keep the identity of your client unknown to the public while you do what you do, national security. You know, man, these people are fucking frauds, man. They're all a bunch of fucking deep state, disgraced, fucking desperate fucking clowns. And they lost. Everything, and I've said this, everything they try to do backfires on them. Blasey fucking Ford, backfire. The shit with Stormy Daniels and her stupid fucking attorney, backfired. The attorney got investigated, backfired. Stormy Daniels lost, backfired. Everything in this witch hunt shit, James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Robert fucking fake dementia Mueller, fucking Nazi wannabe, backfired. Everything, man. Fake impeachment inquiry, backfired. Chelsea Manning, WikiLeaks, backfired. Prison, jail, backfired. Got out of fucking prison, went back to fucking jail. Imprisonment, backfired. Julian Assange, talking shit about the United States, pretending like he's going to evade authorities indefinitely. And that the people in public, they're totally on his side. Yeah, and he can evade U.S. Western intel indefinitely. Backfired. Guess who else you're gonna hear about pretty soon? I'm certain of it. You know how I know? Because I called all the other shit I've been talking about, if you haven't figured that the fuck out by now. Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I don't currently have millions of people on my Twitter page. No, I don't. And guess what? I'm calling all kinds of shit that motherfuckers have no clue about in advance of the shit in politics and news media. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. I told you that fucking Julian Assange was gonna get got, and he got backfired. Guess who's next? Guess who's fucking next? Edward fucking Snowden. All the shit that he's been doing, all the shit that he's been talking on this long last leg of his. Oh, that's right. One Sir Grove's been calling it for a minute now. Guess what? Backfired! Yeah, man, Snowden's about to get reeled in. Oh yeah, U.S. intelligence is planning an operation right now to bring him back stateside. Oh yeah, you didn't know that? Of course you didn't, because I'm the one that fucking just told you that it's in the works. You're about to see a huge news story break when Edward is what I meant. Edward Snowden is arrested for espionage. Oh yeah. Edward Snowden's about to be arrested by U.S. authorities. I know. People out there like Mark Zaid, arrogant fucking pathetic morons, imbeciles, fucking idiots. You're thinking, oh, come on, Grove. He's in Russia and he's being hid. He's being hid by Russian intelligence services. There's no way he could be found and brought back to America. Backfired! Just like motherfucking Julian Assange. You guys have no fucking idea what I'm talking about until you see it in the media and you're like, holy shit! How did this fucking happen? Grove, how the fuck did you know this shit? Check this out. People are calling for Mark Zaid to be investigated. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know why? Because he started a fucking discussion about a coup plot against the president back in 2017. And just recently, he tried to play it off as if it were all fucking fun and games. Yeah. And you know what? People, many of them, just aren't buying his motherfucking story. So, since it's obvious to a lot of us that Mr. Zaid was involved in an attempted coup, hoping to get CNN behind him, which he had no way to know CNN would be an ember in a fucking fire that's already happened, and it's just a little tiny ember, and there's mostly nothing left of it. Mostly no one watching or listening to it. He had no idea at the time that that would be the case. His precious CNN. Yeah, that he was aligned with. Yeah, that would help him impeach Donald Trump. Fucking goddamn fucking traitor to America. Fucking traitor. Yeah. Motherfucking traitor. So much for your national security prowess, Mr. Zaid, that you propped yourself up as, being expert in, professional for all of these motherfucking decades that we've observed you. Yeah, this was the straw, the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. Oh yeah, you said you were gonna remove Donald Trump and that CNN was gonna help you do it. Backfired! I wonder how long you're gonna keep your fucking legal practice after the public, those in the public who are really, truly about national security, have you independently investigated, and the current administration, that is federal government under Donald Trump, has you motherfucking investigated. Yeah, I wonder what America and the world's gonna find out about you, Mr. Mark Zaid, after you're formally fucking investigated. Backfired!